we have discussed about the tissues in animals. So I hope you all have understood the last class. Today this week we are going to this connective tissue in animals. And why it is called as connective tissue? Because these tissues connects many things together, many different things together for do a specific function. That is why it is called as connective tissue. And if you're coming to the types of connective tissue, there are mainly three types of connective tissues are there. One is a specialized connective tissue in which blood, bones and other things are coming. Then we are having the loose connective tissue. Mainly these are the two. So we have to go little bit detail about this blood, why blood is called as connective tissue, what is the amount of blood that is present in a human. This much of explanation is not given in your textbook. It is finished with one paragraph. So if you see the blood is known as a connective tissue because it connects various body tissues and its organs together by bringing. That means it connects many things. It connects with oxygen, it connects with hormones, it connects with nutrients, it connects with blood corpuscles, many things. And in average, the total amount of blood that is present inside a adult, it is somewhere around, rough figure, it is about 60 milliliters per kilogram of the body weight. It is somewhere, that means it is around 6 liters in male and 5 liters in female. 6 to 7 liters in male and 5 to 6 liters in female. And if you are seeing the different components of the whole blood, when we take the whole blood, the blood is having three parts, which is first is called as a plasma, second one is a puffy coat, and third one is for the platelets and erythrocytes, which is together called as the formed elements. So plasma part of the blood is responsible for carrying the nutrients, and platelets are responsible for the blood clotting. Erythrocytes is responsible for carrying oxygen, and leukocytes is responsible for the body defense. And how we are getting these three distinct forms? That means they will withdraw the blood through a syringe and they will spun it in centrifuge. So when they are spun in centrifuge, according to the weight, it will settle down. So we will be getting three parts. Apart from that, this plasma part of the blood is a fluid. It is a fluid part of blood, and it is in which all the formed elements are suspended. And serum is a part of the blood where plasma minus fibrinogen means clotting factors, especially platelets. If we remove fibrinogen or platelets from the plasma, then it is called as serum. So both of them are having clinical importance. And next, if you are asking what are these formed elements, these are the formed elements that is present inside the blood. That is erythrocytes, otherwise we will call it as the red blood cells. Shape is biconcave in nature. We will be having 4 to 6 million inside the blood. It is responsible for the transport of carbon dioxide and oxygen. And next comes is the leukocytes, spherical, nucleated, somewhere around 400 to 4000 to 10,000 in per millimeter cube. And these leukocytes are further divided into two, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes means which are having small granules inside that will be having three are there. What is neutrophil, eosinophil and basophil. This neutrophils are bilobed and they are phagocytic in nature. Eosinophils are also bilobed nucleus. They have the capacity to kill bacteria, and eosinophil is the one among the leukocyte which will be more common during the time of infection. Next one is basophils. They are also bilobed, but they are having a very big granules to the middle, and these are also anti-inflammatory. So whenever the cell is required, they also do the function of phagocytosis. Then when we are coming to the agranulocytes, we are having lymphocytes and monocytes. Lymphocytes are spherical indent, pale blue in color, and they are responsible for the immunity, body defense. And monocytes, which are having kidney shaped nucleus and which is responsible for the phagocytosis. Next and the last one, that is known as the platelets. So they are discoid in shape, somewhere around 150,000 to 400,000 is there. So they are responsible for the clotting factor. So these are the main things that is given present inside the blood. This table you can keep with you. It will be helpful in many occasions. In many occasions it will be helping. Next one, that is a bone and a cartilage. So this is the structure of a bone cell. So bone cell is the hardest connective tissue that is present in our body. So the bone cells are made up of collagen, calcium, which is given strength. So maximum it will be of calcium and phosphorus. They are made up of calcium and phosphorus. And each bone cells of the bone are known as osteocyte. Osteos means bone, sites means cell. They are present inside a lacuna. Lacuna means a small area where they secreted by the matrix. And there are cytoplasmic extensions in the bone cells, which we call it as the canaculae. Canaculae means network of canals, that's the meaning. And the spongy bones are surrounded with compact bones, and we can see osteons. Osteon, that means spiked areas inside the compact bone. And there will be capillaries, and nervous system passes through the central channel, which is known as the Havasian canal. There are central marrow, that means there are spongy tissues that is present inside the bone, which we call it as the bone marrow, from where the blood cells are originated. And because the RBCs, platelets and leukocytes originated from the bone marrow, that is why we call it as formed elements. So this is the structure of the bone. And next one comes is the cartilage. Cartilage is another connective tissue. It is consist of proteins and sugar. So cartilage is very important. So wherever the bones can't join, their cartilages plays a very important role. For example, in trachea, nose, ears, larynx, in between the bones there are. So if there is a connection between two bones, that particular connective tissue is known as the ligament, which is elastic. And where the muscle and the bones are connected, that particular connective tissue is known as tendon. And tendon is a fibrous connective tissue which is having great strength. So here I have given the difference between the bone and cartilage, the same thing, but it is very much important. Next comes is the loose connective tissue. Loose connective tissue means they are responsible to connect, but they are loosely arranged inside a fluid. And one of the connective tissue that is present inside of skin and muscles, which we call it as the adipose tissues. Adipose tissue is a connective tissue which is responsible for store fat. So storage of fat will help for function as an insulator, and it will protect the organs from wear and tear. And these areolar connective tissues are mainly found in between the skin and muscles, and the space between them will be filled with fluid. tissue spaces between them have different organs filled with fluid, and underlying muscles will be there, so they give much of the internal support. So these are the connective tissues that is present inside our body. So please go through this very clearly, because there are a lot of terms which you are studying for the first time. It comes inside this, in especially in the bone and cartilage. So if you have any doubt from this, you can comment me, or if you don't understand any word meaning, or if you don't understand anything, please revert me back. Then you read the textbook, so that a single paragraph that is written inside the textbook, no, not in single paragraph, 3-4 paragraphs, the connective tissue will be clear to you. Thank you.